Desire outwits Mother Nature. So, we are discussing the chapter number 2, Desire, the starting point of all achievements, the first step towards riches. So, today we are discussing about the fitting climax to this chapter number 2, and in that we are discussing about the two references that the author given to us in chapter number 1, the introduction chapter. So if you are not listened to the introduction chapter, please go back and listen to the introduction chapter. Then you will get the continuation of what we are talking today. So in this chapter, the climax area of the chapter number 2, the desire, the author is introducing the two people's reference for us to understand how this desire converts a person into a success. So the first person he is introducing, that is, he saw this person, that is 25 years back, means ago, when he was born. He was a boy and he introduced to this world few minutes after the author saw this person. So this boy came into this world without any physical sign of ears. That means the boy was deaf. And this boy's father was not accepting the reality. And he is not ready to accept that his son was a deaf. And the father took a decision. That is, the boy didn't want to live as a deaf person. He wanted to live as a normal person. So that was the desire of that father towards his son. So every day he renewed his mind, that is, my son didn't want to live a deaf life, my son want to live a normal life. So that desire always within his mind, because he is a very responsible person and he didn't want to see his son as deaf. So what happened in between, that is, one day he brought a cassette, and what happened in that, the boy had an attempt to listen to that music, and what happened that the father was very much happy, that is, the boy can slightly hear something. So that increased his confidence about his desire. So one day he saw that the boy was hearing that music cassette, hearing that almost 2 hours, standing in front of that play card, and which his teeth is clamped on the edge of the case. But that time the father didn't know that there is a bone conduction of the sound at that time. So maybe the boy was climbing that ridges that will feel that the rhythm of that music, but the father didn't understood that at that time. And later what happened, he went to that schools and everywhere. The teacher understood that this boy was deaf, but the teacher gave a special attention to this boy, and one day his mother saw to that the teachers are arranging them to give a special attention. So that made them feel very strong about what their boy was getting or the child was getting. So in between what happened somewhat time, that is, he is slightly listening something, he is understanding the actions that he can interpret all the things. So that made them, the father and the mother made them very confident about the child, that he can listen something, he can grow up like a normal person. So this boy's father was attempting a lot, that is, the boy like the boy enjoying the bedtime story. So he's means so many times he is started means a story in a particular way, he is started to talking to this boy that will give him lot of confidence about his idea, his desire. And after a long time, what happened? One day the father trying to convince the boy that he can hear properly, that was the desire of the father. So he is convincing the boy. And in schools, he got special attention and everybody is taking care of him. So the father was very happy about it. And the father got an idea. That is, the father sold him to an idea, that is, when he become old enough to sell newspapers. So he is trying his son to become independent and also become a normal person. So he is trying so many ways because his desire is that much strong that my son didn't want to be a deaf person, a handicapped person. He must want to be a normal person. So he sold this idea to his son, that is, sell some newspapers. So at that time his older brother also doing the same. So at the age of 7, that father got some evidence from him, the boy, that is, he is doing the right thing and his desire will come true, like that of some evidence he got. So what was that evidence? That is, the boy want to sell more newspapers and he want to do some work. So that made the father become more confident, and he got the point, that is, the boy is increasing his hearing abilities. So what happened, his mother was not ready to send this boy for selling the newspaper because he was a 7 and she was very afraid about how he can manage all the things. So finally what happened, the boy took matters in his own hand. One afternoon what he did, that is, he left the home with the servants and he climbed through the kitchen window. And he borrowed 6 cents in capital from the neighborhood shoemaker and he invested in paper. And he sold out, reinvested and kept repeating until late in the evening. So what happened, he got the 6 cents and he is reinvested and he kept repeating this all the things and he got some money. So after balancing his account and paying back this 6 cents he had borrowed from his banker, that is the shoemaker, he brought already, so that he want to balance. So he had a net profit of 42 cents in the evening. So when he came home and the father and mother found him in bed sleep with a money tightly clenched in his hand. And his mother opened his hand and removed the coins and cried. So mothers always be affectionate with the son, and also he had physical problems, that is handicapped, a deaf boy. So the mother was cried. But the father's response was the reverse, because he laughed. The father was laughed and he understood that my desire will come true one day. That is, the mind and the attitude of the boy was changed and he had become a successful person now at the age of 7. So what he did, that is boy, that is that little deaf boy, he wanted something. What he will do, that is, he could plan a way to earn the money, then buy it for himself, and he still follows that plan. So one thought the father was put in that boy's mind, that is, he can achieve himself and he can do anything, and that desire was a strong one. My boy didn't want to be a deaf person and he want to live a successful person, as a normal person. So what happened? The little deaf boy went through the grade high school and college without being able to hear his teachers, excepting when they should loudly to close range. So when they will say something loudly, then very nearer to him, then only the boy can understand. But the teachers will be very much giving attention to him. So there is going through the normal school, not a deaf school or something. So he would not permit him to learn the sign language. So the father was that much confident about his desire, that is, my boy didn't want to live a deaf life. So he didn't send his son to a sign language class for the deaf. He sent to a normal school. And while he was in the high school, he tried an electrical hearing aid. The boy tried an electrical hearing aid. But it was no value to him, because already he went through the surgery and all these things. The doctor confirmed that he couldn't hear anything. And what happened? One miracle was happened in his life, that during his last week in college, 18 years after the operation, something had happened that was marked and the most important turning point of his life. So what happened in that? Some companies sent some electrical hearing aid to this boy for some trial purpose, and he was slow about testing it. The boy was very slow about testing it because he is already disappointed about his hearing and this device. But he taken that hearing aid very carelessly. He picked up and he put in his head, placed in his ears, hooked up on the battery, and the magic happened. The desire for normal hearing became a reality. First time in life he heard practically as well as any person with normal hearing. So God moves in mysterious ways his wonders to perform. He was overjoyed and he found his mother and he listened to his mother's voice, his father's voice. So he was very much happy and he sent a letter to that manufacturer that I was very much happy about it and I want to meet the manufacturer. So he went there to meet the manufacturer and he met him and he talked with his experiences and everything. And this time the father got the reality, the father got the real result of his desire. Because when this boy was born, the father was very much afraid to accept the reality that his son was a deaf. But now he reached his right desire and he reached the right destination of his desire. So shortly after, the boy became the associated with the manufacturer of his hearing aid, and he invited to attend the classes conducted by this company and for the purpose of teaching deaf muted to hear and to speak. So what a dramatic change happened in a person's life when one desire seeded into a mind. That the author is telling. So at that time what happened? The father was very much happy and he was very much came true moment. The dream came true moment he got at that time, and he understood that my son is not deaf. My son can hear as a normal person. So that much strong it is, the desire. So the author is telling that the burning desire has devious ways of transmuting itself into its physical equivalent. So the desire for normal hearing, now the boy has got it. And he was born with a handicap which might easily have sent one with a less definite defined desire to the street with a bundle of pencils and a tin cup. So the author is telling that if he will be as a normal person, like a handicapped person, what will happen? So that is the power of a burning desire. And putting that seed into the mind of that boy, the father done that purpose. The father had that idea, the desire to become that boy was successful. So the author is telling that it has been my good fortune to have had the privilege of testing the soundness of the power of desire through the affliction of my own son. So the boy was not any other person, the boy was the author's son. That we are already discussed in the introduction chapter. The two peoples that the author is introducing, the one person is that his own son. So his own son was born with no physical hearing ability, and he put that desire in his mind that his boy, the author's son, can hear as a normal person. He is not a handicap. So the author is telling that many years previously I had written, our only limitation are those we set up in our minds. For the first time I wondered if that statement were true. So if that mind of the author was thinking maybe about, okay, I am accepting the reality that my son was a deaf, what will happen? He want to be go in the street and want to beg some money from others. But now he is most successful and he changed his life into a successful person, from a handicap into a normal person. So that is the power of desire, the burning desire, and how to fill that desire with faith. The belief of that desire will come true in your life. So the author is telling that I planted in my son's mind that the desire to hear and to speak as any normal person hears and speaks. That desire has now become a reality. I planted his mind the desire to convert his greatest handicap into his greatest asset. So how much if a person is giving this book, or the person is the author of this book, he is introducing his own son as a successful person, and he planted that desire, how he practically applied to a person's life and how that changed to a person, that we want to see. So that the author is telling that I planted in his mind the desire to convert its greatest handicap into greatest asset. So now you can understand that how it will change a person's life. How much desire do you want to live a life? So the author is telling that that desire has been realized. So how it is realized? It consists of three very definite facts. The first, I mixed with faith, with the desire for normal hearing. And second, what he did? Second, I communicated my desire to him in every conceivable way available. Through persistent, continuous effort over a period of years. Third, he believed me. So the three very definite fact that we want to accept, that is, first we want to mix our desire with faith. Then we want to communicate with our mind, that is, it is possible. And we want to believe ourselves, that is the third step. So this is applied the author Napoleon Hill to his son, and he changed a handicap into a greatest successful person. So that much strong the desire, that much strong the mixing of faith, that much strong the belief system of your life. And he introducing the second person is the friend of him. So one day what happened, he was very ill, his friend was very ill, and he was very thin, and he lost lots of weight and everything, and he got a severe disease. And one day what happened, the doctor was suggested to do a surgery. So doctor told that is the patient maybe survive, otherwise there is no hope. But that was doctor's opinion. It was not the opinion of the patient. That means his friend. So the patient told that is to this author, the Napoleon Hill, that is when he is going to that surgery, when he was going to that surgery, the patient, his friend was told to the Napoleon Hill that is, do not be disturbed. I will be out of here in a few days. But he was very ill. The friend was very ill and he cannot survive from that surgery that the doctor already told. But the patient didn't told about it. The patient was so much confident. And he told to that author that is, I will be out of here in few days. Nothing but his own desire to live saved him. That is, he never would have pulled through if he had not refused to accept the possibility of death. So after the surgery, the friend of Napoleon Hill came back to normal life. So I believe the author is believe in the power of desire backed by the faith, because he seen these two peoples in his life. And he is very briefly he is telling about these two stories. And if you really want to understand the core of this book, must buy this book, read this book, and understand the way how practically we can apply this rules or the points in our life that will make you a rich person. So these two peoples he is introducing, the chapter number 2, the last, the climax of this chapter number 2. And he is telling the last lines of this chapter, that is, to all these I wish to convey. The author want to convey the thought that all achievement, no matter what may be its nature or its purpose, must begin with an intense burning desire for something definite. So I already discussed this topic in the introduction session also. If you have a strong burning desire, whatever comes to your way, it may be of a circumstances, it may be of any of the problem, it will comes, remove the impossible from your life and make it possible. If you have a burning desire in your life. So that message the author is conveying to us in the last few sentences of chapter number 2, desire, the starting point of all achievement. And he is telling, through some strange and powerful principles of mental chemistry, which the peoples are using, that he given the examples, that impulses of strong desire, that something which recognizes and that make the impossible into the reality. So that he is explaining to us, that he is telling to us how we can change that, how we can change our burning desire to the reality. So the first person he introduced, that is his own son. He was deaf at the birth time, but he changed his life by planting the desire into that boy. And second person is his friend, and he came from a great disease, from a severe disease into normal life. So I am also conveying to you, that is, if you have a burning desire in your life, do not quit. Do not say it's impossible. Do not say it's not happening to me. Be confident. Be strong enough to follow your desire, the burning desire. So we will see on the next session of reading the chapter number 3, faith, visualization of and belief in attainment of desire. So every chapter is connected, and listen to every chapter's continuous, and then you will get the idea how to become, think and grow rich. Read with me and learn with me.